Have you ever found yourself awake in the middle of the night, just lying there staring at the ceiling, wondering why sleep won't come? Maybe you've turned over a few times, pulled the blanket up, tried to relax. But the more you try, the more alert you feel. And somehow, it always seems to happen around 3 a.m. If that sounds familiar, you're definitely not alone. Night after night, there's a reason behind it, tied to your body, your health, and even your mind. And it's not just a random coincidence. Stick with me until the end of this video, because I'm going to reveal exactly why this keeps happening and share simple, powerful steps you can take to finally get the deep, restful sleep you deserve, waking up refreshed and ready to take on the day. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video. You can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know so I can make a better video for you. Now, let's get started. Let's dive into this intriguing question. Why do you find yourself waking up at 3 a.m.? Why not, say, 2 a.m.? Or perhaps 4? What is it about that specific hour that seems to pull you out of slumber? The answer lies deep within the intricate workings of your body, guided by something known as your circadian rhythm. Picture this rhythm as your body's very own internal timekeeper, a sophisticated system that orchestrates when you feel alert and ready to tackle the day, when you start to wind down and crave sleep, and even when certain hormones are released to regulate everything, from your energy levels to your digestion and emotional state. It's a beautifully synchronized dance, but as the years go by, this internal clock doesn't quite tick the same way it once did. Aging brings changes to more than just our outward appearance. Our vision might blur, our joints might creak a bit more, and in much the same way, our sleep patterns undergo their subtle transformation. Here's where it gets fascinating. Around 3 a.m., your body enters a unique phase. During this time, there's a natural shift in your core temperature, a recalibration of hormone production, and even fluctuations in your blood sugar levels. These changes are all part of the normal ebb and flow of your physiology. However, for many older adults, these shifts become more pronounced and harder to ignore. Perhaps your body isn't as adept at regulating temperature as it once was, leaving you waking up feeling uncomfortably warm or chilled to the bone. Or maybe your cortisol levels, those hormones tied to stress, are slightly out of sync, nudging your system into a state of restlessness when it should be at ease. But there's more to this midnight mystery than just biology at work. As we age, the very structure of our sleep evolves. When you were younger, you might have drifted through the night in a deep, uninterrupted slumber, blissfully unaware of the world around you. Now, however, your sleep cycles tend to skew lighter. Your body spends more time hovering in those delicate, shallow stages of rest, rather than plunging into the profound depths of deep sleep. What does this mean? It means that the slightest disturbance, a faint noise from outside, a subtle shift in your breathing pattern, or even the simple act of rolling over in bed, can be enough to jostle you awake. And once your eyes flutter open, that's when the real challenge begins. Your mind, ever the opportunist, seizes the moment. Suddenly, thoughts come flooding in. Maybe it's a memory from years past that surfaces unbidden, or perhaps it's a mental checklist of tomorrow's tasks, clamoring for attention. It could even be a fleeting worry, something trivial or profound that takes root in the quiet stillness of the night. Before you know it, you're fully alert, gazing up at the ceiling or the shadows on the wall, willing sleep to return while the minutes tick by. Does this sound like a scene you've lived through more than once? But here's where the plot thickens. Waking up at 3 a.m. isn't just a random quirk of sleeplessness, it's a message. Your body is trying to communicate something to you, offering clues wrapped in the stillness of the early morning hours. Sometimes it's a whisper of stress that's been simmering beneath the surface. Other times it's tied to what you've been fueling your body with during the day, and occasionally it's a sign that your system might need a little extra care in ways you hadn't considered before. Let's explore one of those clues, your diet. Have you ever stopped to think about how what you eat or when you eat it might be playing a role in these nocturnal awakenings? As we age, our metabolism shifts gears, and our bodies don't process food quite the same way they did in our youth. If you're indulging in a hearty, rich meal too close to bedtime, or if your afternoon included a sugary snack or a jolt of caffeine, those choices could be throwing your blood sugar levels into a tailspin. By the time 3 a.m. rolls around, that instability can jolt you awake, leaving you wondering why rest feels so elusive. Then there's the matter of hydration, a factor that's easy to overlook, but carries surprising weight. If you're not drinking enough water throughout the day, your body might arouse you in the middle of the night as a subtle signal of dehydration. On the flip side, if you're sipping too much right before you hit the pillow, you might find yourself making those all too familiar trips to the bathroom, disrupting your chance at unbroken sleep. Either way, once you're up, it's a struggle to slip back into that restful state you so desperately need. The secret lies in finding equilibrium. The right mix of nutrients, timed thoughtfully throughout the day, paired with proper hydration, can work wonders for your sleep quality. The best part? Even small tweaks, like shifting your dinner earlier or cutting back on that late coffee, can yield noticeable improvements. But we're only beginning to peel back the layers of this 3 a.m. phenomenon. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. There's still a wealth of insight to uncover. Stress, for instance, plays a sneaky yet powerful role in these wake-up calls. More than most people realize, the way you breathe while you sleep could also be a hidden culprit, subtly nudging you awake. Fortunately, there are straightforward, practical techniques you can try to help extend those precious hours of rest. So stick with me. We've only just embarked on this journey to decode the secrets of your midnight awakenings, and there's so much more to explore now that we've peeled back the layers on some of the primary culprits behind your consistent 3 a.m. wake-ups, things like shifts in your sleep cycles, fluctuations in your body temperature, and even the foods you're eating before bed. It's time to dig even deeper into the mystery, because this isn't just a simple matter of not sleeping through the night. No, it's a complex interplay of how your body reacts to stress, the rhythm of your breathing, and the quiet, unseen workings of your mind while you're tucked under the covers, lost in slumber. Let's start with stress, which might feel like an obvious suspect but deserves a closer look. You might not see yourself as someone who's perpetually frazzled or bogged down by worry. Stress isn't always loud and in your face. It doesn't have to mean pacing the floors or biting your nails over tomorrow's deadlines. Sometimes it's subtler, a slow simmer that builds up in the background through small, everyday moments you barely notice. And when does it choose to make its grand entrance? You guessed it, right around 3 a.m. when the world is quiet and your defenses are down. Here's the science behind it. When stress creeps in, even the kind you don't consciously clock, your body ramps up production of cortisol. That pesky hormone is best known for jolting you awake in the morning and keeping you sharp during the day. In a perfect world, cortisol follows a tidy schedule, high in the early hours to get you going, then tapering off as night falls to let you rest. But when stress throws a wrench in the works, cortisol levels can spike at odd times, disrupting that natural rhythm. The result? You're suddenly wide awake in the dead of night, heart pounding, mind buzzing, feeling inexplicably wired when you should be dreaming. Even if you don't feel anxious on the surface, your body might be stuck in a low-grade fight or flight mode, primed as if it's anticipating some looming threat. And let's face it, as we get older, life hands us plenty of material to chew on. Whether it's subtle shifts in health, concerns about loved ones, or just the inevitable adjustments that come with the passing years, you might not be lying awake obsessing over these things, but your brain doesn't exactly flip an off switch when you hit the pillow. It's still processing, still humming along, and sometimes it drags you out of sleep to join the party. So what's the antidote? One of the simplest yet surprisingly powerful tools at your disposal is something you're already doing every moment of the day: breathing. But not just any breathing. Deep, intentional breathing. Think about how a baby breathes when they're fast asleep. Slow, deep, rhythmic inhales and exhales. Their little chests rising and falling in perfect calm. That's a nervous system at total ease. As adults, especially as we age, we tend to slip into shorter, shallower breathing patterns without even noticing. It's not dramatic. It's just enough to keep our nervous system on a hair trigger, primed to jolt us awake at the slightest provocation. Like that 3 a.m. alarm clock. No one set. Here's a practical fix you can try tonight. Breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold that breath gently for another 4 seconds. Then let it out, just as slowly, through your mouth. For a final count of 4. Repeat this a handful of times. What you're doing now is sending a clear memo to your nervous system. Stand down. No emergencies here. It's safe to rest. It's like hitting a reset button, coaxing your body back into sleep mode. Now let's shift gears and talk about something you might not have considered: your sleep environment. It's tempting to think that just crawling into bed is enough to guarantee a solid night's rest. But the little details can throw everything off. Take temperature, for instance. Have you ever woken up at 3 a.m. and noticed you're just a tad too warm, maybe even clammy? As we age, our bodies don't regulate temperature quite as efficiently as they once did. That subtle overheating can be enough to yank you out of deep sleep. Studies suggest the sweet spot for sleeping is around 65 degrees, 18 degrees, cool enough to keep your body comfortable and locked into that restorative slumber. If your room's creeping above that, it might be time to crack a window or nudge the thermostat down. And then there's light. Another sneaky disruptor. Even the faintest glow, whether it's the blue flicker of your phone screen, the soft hum of a nightlight, or the insistent red digits of your bedside clock, can trick your brain into thinking dawn's breaking. Your brain's wired to respond to light as a wake-up cue. So even a sliver of it can nudge you out of sleep. If 3 a.m. has become your witching hour, try turning your bedroom into a cave. Blackout curtains, a cloth over any glowing electronics, and maybe even a sleep mask. It's a small tweak that can pay off big. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you once again, Wen, for your valuable time. But wait, there's an unexpected player in this nighttime saga. Your liver. Yes, that organ quietly toiling away in your abdomen has a starring role in your sleep story. Between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., your liver kicks into high gear, working overtime to detoxify your body, process the day's intake, and keep your system humming along. If you're consistently waking up at 3 a.m., it could be your liver waving a little flag, signaling it's under extra strain. What might be taxing it? Take a quick inventory of your pre-bedtime habits. A late heavy dinner. Think rich sauces or greasy takeout, or a glass or 2 of wine might taste great going down, but they can leave your liver laboring through the night, sometimes hard, enough to jostle you awake. The fix here is straightforward. Try shifting your last meal earlier. Aim for at least 2 or 3 hours before bed, and keep it light. Think lean protein, veggies, nothing too processed or heavy. Hydration matters too. Sipping water throughout the day eases the load on your liver. Bonus points if you weave in liver-friendly foods like leafy greens, beets, or a splash of lemon in your water. These small habits can help your body glide through its nighttime detox without sounding the alarm. Now let's pivot to what happens when you do wake up. What's your go-to move? Do you grab your phone to scroll through notifications? Do you start mentally drafting tomorrow's to-do list? Or maybe you flop around, growing more irritated? With every passing minute, you're not asleep. If your first instinct is to check the time, here's a pro tip. Resist. The second you glance at the clock and see 3 a.m., your brain kicks into overdrive. Great. Only 4 hours left. I'm doomed. Cue the adrenaline, and suddenly you're more awake than ever. Instead, train yourself to stay calm and present when you wake up. Remind yourself that this isn't a crisis. It's just your body doing its thing. Accept it for what it is, roll with it, and lean back into that deep breathing trick. Focus on releasing tension rather than wrestling with it. The less you fight, the easier it'll be to drift back off. So far, we've unpacked a slew of reasons why 3 a.m. might be your wake-up call. Stress and cortisol spikes, shallow breathing, a too warm room, a busy liver. But there's one more piece to this puzzle, and it's a bit of a plot twist. How you kick off your morning can set the stage for how well you sleep that night. It's all connected. And we'll dive into that next. Now that we've thoroughly unpacked the potential reasons behind your consistent 3 a.m. wake-ups, ranging from stress and irregular breathing patterns to fluctuations in room temperature, exposure to light, and even the subtle influence of liver function, there's one additional, often overlooked layer to this mystery. That deserves our attention. It's not just about what's happening in the middle of the night. It's about how the way you kick off your day with your morning routine reverberates through to affect the quality of your sleep hours later. Sleep isn't an isolated event that magically begins the moment your head sinks into the pillow and ends when your alarm blares in the morning. It's a dynamic, interconnected process that operates on a 24-hour cycle, intricately tied to every choice you make throughout the day. What you do when you first wake up, how you spend your afternoons, and the way you ease into your evenings all contribute to how deeply and restfully you slumber at night. If those 3 a.m. wake-ups have become an unwelcome habit, it might be time to zoom out and examine how you're setting the stage for sleep with your daily routine, starting with the very first moments after you open your eyes. Let's begin with something as fundamental as sunlight. When was the last time you stepped outside in the morning? Not just to rush to your car or grab the mail, but to truly let the natural light wash over your face and skin. It might sound almost too basic to matter, but exposing yourself to sunlight first thing in the morning is one of the most powerful tools you have to recalibrate your body's internal clock, your circadian rhythm. That burst of natural light sends a clear message to your brain. It's daytime now. Time to wake up, get energized, and start the day. This process directly influences the production of melatonin, the hormone responsible for signaling sleepiness when darkness falls. When you skimp on natural light during the day, perhaps because you're stuck indoors under artificial lighting or behind screens, your body can lose its sense of timing. The result, a confused circadian rhythm that leaves your sleep cycle erratic and unpredictable, potentially triggering those disruptive early morning awakenings. So here's a practical challenge for you to try tomorrow morning. As soon as you roll out of bed, commit to stepping outside for just 5 to 10 minutes. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Thank you truly for your valuable time. It doesn't need to be a grand outing. You don't even need sunshine. Cloudy skies still deliver enough natural light to do the trick. Whether it's chilly or warm, stand on your porch, take a few deep breaths, and let your eyes and skin absorb the day's first light. This small intentional act can gradually realign your sleep-wake cycle, making it easier to drift off at night and stay asleep until morning. Now let's shift gears and talk about another key piece of the puzzle: physical movement. Have you ever noticed how on days when you've been more active, maybe walking a little extra, tackling some yard work, or just bustling around, you tend to sleep more soundly? There's a reason for that. Movement, particularly in the morning, doesn't just wake up your muscles and boost your energy. It also lays the groundwork for better rest when night rolls around. And the beauty is, you don't need anything extreme or exhausting. You don't need to sign up for a boot camp, lace up for a 5K, or invest in fancy equipment. Something as simple as a leisurely 15-minute walk around your neighborhood, a few gentle stretches to loosen up your shoulders and back, or even a beginner-friendly Tai Chi sequence can work wonders. The point isn't to push yourself to the limit. It's to move your body in a way that feels natural and enjoyable. This kind of activity boosts circulation, eases stiffness in your joints, and helps your system burn off excess energy during the day. Plus, It melts away some of that lingering tension, which can lower your stress levels and make it easier to unwind when it's time to hit the hay. Now, let's pivot to something a bit more unexpected that might be quietly sabotaging your sleep, your caffeine habits. If you're someone who savors a steaming mug of coffee or a soothing cup of tea in the morning, there's no need to abandon that ritual. It's a perfectly lovely way to start the day. But here's something worth considering. Caffeine has a surprisingly long lifespan in your system. Its effects can linger for 6 to 8 hours, or even longer, depending on your sensitivity. That means the cup you sipped at 2 p.m. might still be coursing through your vein when you're trying to wind down at 10 p.m., even if you don't feel jittery. That subtle stimulation could be keeping your nervous system on alert, making it harder to slip into the deep, restorative sleep your body craves. If those 3 a.m. wake-ups have you feeling wired or restless, try scaling back on caffeine after noon. Swap that afternoon latte for a caffeine-free alternative, like herbal tea, think chamomile or peppermint, or a refreshing glass of water with a splash of lemon. It might take a few days for your body to adjust to the shift. But once it does, you may find yourself drifting through the night without interruption. And while we're on the topic of daily adjustments, let's zoom in on those critical hours just before bed, because your evening wind-down routine can either pave the way for peaceful sleep or throw a wrench into the whole process. Picture your typical night. How do you spend that final stretch before climbing into bed? Are you glued to the TV, flipping through channels, scrolling endlessly? On your phone, catching up on the latest headlines or binge-watching a gripping series? If so, you're likely bathing your eyes in blue light, the kind emitted by screens that mimic the brightness of daylight. This exposure tricks your brain into thinking it's still midday, suppressing melatonin production and delaying your ability to fall into deep, restful slumber. To counter this, try swapping those screen-heavy habits for calmer, low-tech alternatives. Pick up a paperback novel, listen to a soothing playlist or podcast, practice a quick breathing exercise. Inhale for 4, hold for 4 and exhale for 8. If screens are non-negotiable, sometimes you just need to finish that email. Consider using blue light blocking glasses or switching your device to a warm-toned night mode. But perhaps the most transformative habit you can adopt is one of consistency, sticking to a regular bedtime. Your body thrives on predictability. When you go to bed at roughly the same time every night, yes, even on weekends, your internal clock settles into a steady rhythm, making it easier to feel sleepy at the right time and wake up refreshed. But if your sleep schedule zigzags wildly, 10 p.m. one night, 1 a.m. the next, your body struggles to find its footing, which can leave you wide awake when you'd rather be dreaming. So let's tie all these threads together. If you're jolting awake at 3 a.m., your body is sending you a signal, a little nudge that something's out of balance. It could be stress weighing on your mind, a dietary quirk throwing off your system, or a lack of movement leaving pent-up energy in your limbs. It might even be a combination of factors, from restless sleep habits to an environment that's not quite sleep-friendly. The encouraging part? You don't need a complete overhaul to turn things around. Small intentional tweaks can yield surprisingly big improvements. Start by tuning into your surroundings. Keep your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet, free from buzzing gadgets or blinking lights. Soak up some morning sunlight. Weave in a bit of gentle movement. Ease up on caffeine as the day progresses. Above all, give yourself grace and space to unwind. With a little patience and consistency, you might just find those 3 a.m. wake-ups fading into a distant memory, replaced by nights of steady, rejuvenating sleep. And there you have it. We've uncovered why you might be waking up at 3 a.m., from shifts in your sleep cycles and stress, to your diet, environment, and even how your morning routine plays a role. It's not just about sleep, it's about listening to what your body is trying to tell you and making small changes that can lead to big results. You deserve to wake up feeling rested, energized, and ready for the day ahead. So what have you learned so far? I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below this video and tell me one thing you've picked up today that you're going to bring into practice. In your life, maybe it's adjusting your sleep environment, trying deep breathings, or getting some morning sunlight. Whatever it is, let's keep the conversation going. If you liked this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your support helps us bring you more content like this to help you live healthier and happier. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.